listened to your testimony and I'm trying to figure out where is the crime that they're prosecuting Diddy for. And I'm wondering, when you had your discussions with prosecutors before they called you, did they explain where they were going? Because I was confused about that when you walked off the stand.
Honestly, that was my personal experience too, being confused. I remember when investigators first approached me in March of 2024. This was before any charges, allegations. I basically told them, "Hey guys, I have nothing for you. I didn't see any violence. I didn't get any cues to her being in distress, and any cues or anything that I mentioned, which I did say there was some wincing and some sighing and stuff. That was in hindsight. If there was never any allegations, I would have never even perceived it as being an issue to even point out. So I'm just as confused as you. I still to this day I'm like, I don't know why I testified. I always believed my testimony, if it was any benefit, might have benefited the defense.
Your initial phone call, you said, look, I don't have anything, but clearly they pressed forward. I'm sure you had several meetings, but there was never anything where they said, look, we're going to call you because we think this will connect to something else. Did they ever try to connect the dots for you? Because obviously you told them you were confused right off the bat.
Yeah, I think what the problem was I kept getting passed from investigator to another investigator to ultimately when I was with the attorneys prosecuting, and so obviously they relay notes, but I don't think it was communicated aware, and it was never communicated to me what direction they were going, what from my testimony was valuable that they thought helped the case. Because me and my own evaluation, I just really didn't understand.
I read your testimony, and you're talking about Cassie paying you and Cassie dressing up and kind of prompting you. I kind of had the same feeling you did, which was that's what the defense is arguing, that this was kind of a consensual sexual liaison.
And even if Diddy, and I know you did say at points that Diddy did make some payments, that she would make the initial, I guess, down payment, and then he would pay more when the encounter was over. But you weren't, to be clear, you were never transported, as the indictment is. So you weren't transported across state lines.
This was all in New York, and you live in New York,
correct?
right?
Exactly. At the time, I lived in Harlem, and all of the encounters happened in New York hotel. So again, like when this stuff started, I was like, look, there's no way I can associate with trafficking. I'm all in the same state.
I thought maybe prosecutors told you something beforehand, because I was so confused when you got off the stand. I didn't realize you shared the confusion.
The only thing I can assume, and this is an assumption because we didn't have the conversation, was I think they wanted to make more significance with the wincing and the sighing and the frustration. But even if I'm being honest, if in the moment I did not associate that stuff with her being in distress to doing anything against her will. And even in hindsight, I understand the allegations, but I would be misrepresenting the situation if I said the situations I was in would translate it. Even in hindsight, I cannot say, oh, those sounds or those wincings or those sighs were her in distress, because it just did not appear to be that way.